Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to another episode of Q&A with Che. I'm your host, as usual, Che, the one, the only. Well, the other one's dead. Um, anyway, today's episode of Q&A with Che, we're going to delve into one of the more mysterious areas of the music industry, publishing performance rights organizations, also known as PROs. I have a guest today from SESAC. He has a very eclectic background and journey that led him to where he's at today. And we're going to delve into this mysterious area of the music industry. Subscribe to Q&A with Che on the Himalaya app or wherever you get your podcast from. But get Himalaya. Welcome to Q&A with Che. I'm your host, the one and only Che. You know, it occurred to me, I think we were just talking about this off screen, that we hadn't talked about a name for the headquarters. And they might have their own name, but I'm going to call it the Hideout. It's the BH Hideout. So today, in the secret lair, which I don't think is villainous, think of it more like as a rebel, revolutionary, you know, heroic, stealing other people's words, but that's okay. They're mine now. So we're here in the lair, the BH Hideout. My guest today is, I want to introduce him properly, but I also wanted him to introduce himself because I want to understand how he got to where he is, because he has a very unique job in this industry, and I want him to tell you all about it. But I also just think he has a very eclectic background as well. Introducing from SESAC, Mario Prins.
Thank you, Shay. Thank you.
Did I pronounce the last name right?
That's right. That's
All right,
right. I mean, it's funny because some people say Prince and some people say Prince, because I'm Panamanian. So when I was growing up, my dad always says Prince.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
the accent.
Prince, but it's Prins. But thank you for having me. Appreciate you.
Did you grow up in Panama?
Nah, I actually grew up in LA here, but
Okay.
my parents are born and raised in Panama. So
Okay.
they
Shout out to the parents.
absolutely, moms and pops.
So right off the bat, let's you grew up in LA.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And then how'd you get to where'd the journey begin in terms of this path?
It started early at an early age, man. Like my dad, he he always played music in the house, like salsa music, Latin music, merengue, and
Okay.
that kind of vibes. Reggae and stuff. So he had a love for music, and we used to have parties at our house all the time.
Yeah.
So
Let me interrupt you 1 second.
Mhm.
I realized that I said this is Mario from SESAC, but I didn't say what SESAC is, and many of you don't know what SESAC is. So we're going to get into that momentarily.
yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Nah, actually, I'm a DJ too. So not only do I wear the CSAC hat, I wear a DJ hat, which that is a deep passion of mine. It's a creative outlet. But yeah, it started as listening to music with my dad, growing up on a lot of Latin music, him blasting his music loudly in the house.
Okay.
And that's where the love. And I remember one day I asked him, I was like, why you play the music so loud? He was like, so I could hear all the instruments.
Okay. Okay.
So it just started there, and I just, obviously grew to have a love for hip hop, reggae, dancehall, jazz. I'm a big jazz head.
Okay.
Funk, just like a lot of classic stuff from, Herbie to, of course, James Brown. And
When did you start DJing?
I started DJing like
What?
around 14 in high school.
Oh, okay. So young.
Yeah. And I used to ask my principal in high school. I went to Palisades. Like, can I DJ at lunch? And can you pay me like $75?
Right.
So I would do it,
Yeah,
and
okay.
and it just
That's very
started.
entrepreneurial.
Yeah. It started there, and I went to college. I went to St. John's University in New York. So
Shout out New York.
yes, Queens,
Big East. Used to be Big East anyway.
right. So and I started making beats.
Chris Mullen. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His little brother Terrence Mullen too.
Yeah. You started making beats?
I started making beats in college.
So what'd you start making beats on?
The MPC
Okay.
2000 XL.
All right, that's right. You're a little younger than me. I'm a 3000 guy. I remember the MPC 60 for those who don't,
I know what they are. I never
Yeah.
got on the 60, but
Yeah.
I started making beats, and I was in a little group. I was in a band after that, hip hop group and VJC. Shout out to the VJC, the Vinyl Junkies. And I started making beats, and I wanted to know who were the guys in charge of getting the music to the artists. Like, who were those middlemen? So I started going up to Ruckus Records. This is like when Pharoah Monch and Mos
Okay.
Def and them were really, really popping.
Shout out Yasin.
Yeah, yeah. And I had to meet those dudes. And then after, just trying to make beats and try to get placements, I was like, man, maybe, this is another angle working in the business.
Okay.
So fast forward, I moved back to LA from New York, and
Yeah.
and I started getting into music publishing. I was a
Okay.
temp at BMG
Okay.
answering phones.
Let me interrupt you there.
Mm.
I love what he just said right there. He realized that this was another opportunity, another angle of getting in the business. So everybody listening, it ain't all about rapping. It ain't all about producing. It ain't always about singing or being the performer. There's many opportunities in this industry. So so now fast forward, you're interning at BMG.
I'm getting paid.
Oh, no, you get paid.
I'm getting
Okay.
paid. I'm answering
Okay.
phones, but I'm getting paid. And I meet an A&R. I remember his name, Derek, and J.R. Lindsay.
Okay. And what was Derek's last name?
Strong.
Okay.
Derek
Okay,
Strong. Yep. And I was like, man, this is why I got into the business, so I could meet the A&Rs. And then eventually, like, wear that hat as well, if I was blessed to do that. So I answered phones. I did what I had to do. I was temping, and then
Started from the bottom. Now you're here.
Yeah. And then opportunity came. I was also, actually, I'm forgetting things. I worked in radio as well.
Oh.
So right before I got into publishing, I moved back to LA. I got into radio. I worked at iHeartRadio, Kiss FM. I did promotions and call-ins on the radio. And then after that, I moved to K-Day, 93.5 FM, the first hip-hop formatted station in the world. I did promotions there, and that was like fire.
Oh, so you got a real journey.
Yeah, that was a great experience. And then around that time when I saw like streaming and everything was coming into play, I was like, I got to pivot a little bit and like broaden my horizon and knowledge base. So I was like, let me try publishing.
Okay.
And a homie of mine hooked me up with an agency, and I'm in publishing, and then a Universal Music publishing opportunity came about as I was temping at BMG, and I got that job, and I was working in the sync department. So a sync department is the department that handles all the
one of my favorite departments at a publishing company.
So if your music is in TV, film, commercials, the sync department is the go-to department.
Befriend them.
Yes. So I worked in licensing, where I got to learn a lot of the licensing and the terms and such for the different licensings that Universal, the catalog that Universal represented, the catalog. So after a year there, I got a call like, hey, SESAC is looking for somebody, and I was like, all right, cool. So I interviewed. I started there.
Were you familiar with SESAC at that point?
I was familiar. I was more familiar with ASCAP and BMI because they were the larger entities. But I started there, SESAC, as a coordinator, creative.
That's a perfect segue right now. What is SESAC?
So
for those that don't know,
SESAC is a performing rights organization, known as a PRO for short. And what they do is they represent songwriters and music publishers and pay them royalties when their music is played on the radio, when it's streamed, when it's on television, and when it's performed live in venues.
So that's one of the biggest questions I get. What is a PRO, and do I need to belong to one? Do you think every artist and songwriter needs to belong to a PRO?
Yes, absolutely. And because when your music is out there in the world getting streams, activity, you need an entity, a company who has the infrastructure to monitor that activity. They know what songs you have by registering your songs with your PRO. They monitor that activity worldwide, and then they pay you your royalties accordingly.
Now, are our PROs created equally?
There's different business structures, like ASCAP, BMI are nonprofit organizations. SESAC is a for-profit organization.
Now, that's fascinating to me alone, because that's obviously a different strategy and approach.
Mm-hmm.
Me being a longtime writer at BMI, and as you know, I'll be fully transparent here. I'm leaving BMI.
Yeah, he's coming to join the fam.
And I'm coming to join the fam. And I know my reasons why, but in your opinion, why do you think that SESAC is a better organization? And granted, not everyone can join,
Right.
right?
Because we're selective. So just like with the label and publisher mindset, we want to know who we're signing. We just don't want to open up the floodgates and say, go pay your $40 online and sign up with us. No, I want to know who you are. I want to know your music. I want to know how driven and passionate you are about the craft. Um, that is a key factor in how we're different. CSAC is different from ASCAP and BMI, and plus, that allows us to be more hands-on.
Yeah.
We're smaller because we are selective.
And
And that works for a lot of people, and it may not work for everyone, and that's okay.
yeah, I mean, my personal opinion is that just the fact that it's for profit alone is that there's more passion there. You know what I mean? There's more driven. There's more of a goal there.
Yeah,
You know.
there's definitely a lot vested. And we only eat what we catch.
Yeah.
That's to keep it real simple. So I mean,
I know people ask me all the time, they think publishing is signing the ASCAP and BMI. Can you explain a little bit of the differences?
yeah, absolutely. Again, the PRO world is a part of publishing. Publishing is pretty much the ownership you have in your works, your songs. And let me say this too. Songwriters are not just folks who write lyrics and melody, top liners. Songwriters are also guys who make the music, who make beats. If you make beats, you're writing music. You are a songwriter. So when I say songwriter, it encompasses all of that.
Good point.
I'm sorry, man. You got me here on this
Yeah.
mezcal.
Come
Repeat
on.
the question.
Yeah. Exactly. Little afternoon drink. You know what I mean? Conversation. I get the question I get so much from young people, young songwriters, young producers, young artists. They really don't understand publishing, and with that said, they even understand PROs even less.
Got it. Now I remember. So publishing again is the interest. Actually, let me rewind it back one more time. Your song is imagine like a big pie, big circle. Half of that song belongs to all the songwriters. There's the lyrics, melodies, and the guys who make the music, the beat makers.
Mhm.
The other half is controlled by the publisher. So when you write a song, you write something, a lyric, a melody, you are your own publisher. And that's how a song is broken up in the business. So the difference between publishing and PROs is that your publisher, if you sign a co-pub deal to a Universal Music Publishing or a Sony ATV or Warner Chappell, they are a partner in the business of your songwriting, your music. So either a lot of publishers, they're a bank, where songwriters just,
Take
hey,
an
I need a
advance.
studio, I need my house, I just need an advance because I need to make the best music, and I got like 7 records coming on the next Kanye album. So that's like money for a publisher because that's pipeline money. And so again, your publisher is like your partner, and they have an interest in your musical work. So they help to exploit. They're supposed to help exploit your
Yeah,
songs.
they're supposed to.
Supposed to help exploit your songs in the marketplace, connect you with other great songwriters, put you into sessions, just basically help you get opportunities to make money and exploit your songs. A PRO, Performing Rights Organization, is the entity, again, that monitors your songs in the marketplace and pay you royalties based on your activity. So if you have, say if you have a co-pub deal with, such and such publishing and you're signed to CSAC, what we're going to do is, hey, each quarter we're going to pay you a check. You get a check as a songwriter. And then being that you're signed to this publishing company over here, we're going to send your publishing royalties to that publishing company. And that's how it works. If you own your own publishing, you get everything, the writer and the publisher shares. You get 2 checks when you're making money at a PR, a writer check and a publisher check. If you got a co-pub deal, that check is going to go to that publisher.
Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, I may have gotten a little deep there, but
No, that was
but that's how it works.
that's brilliant. But now tell me, okay, you've got this history and this journey that you've from DJ to producer to radio. and the backstory behind that to publishing, and now you're at a PRO.
Mhm.
What do you do at SESAC?
So my job, I'm a senior director of creative. So my job is to
It's one of the big titles, in case y'all didn't hear that. Can you repeat that title one more time for me?
senior director of creative. And again,
Yeah,
titles don't mean as much as they used to. Like
it does here.
it
I got one of the big dogs in the house.
But it's more about what you're doing. And so what I do is I manage relationships with our existing clients and writers, and I love looking, or my job is to look for new talent, whether they're new to songwriting or they're established, and bring value and market share to the company, and so we can have a mutual beneficial relationship. Um, that's the key. Even if a songwriter isn't like having songs on the charts, if that songwriter is on his way, on his or her way, that's something that I love to identify and be on early. Like getting on things early, on young talent early is very, very key in our business, especially with PROs, because it's a good segue into something. When you sign with a PRO, each PRO have different terms of how long you're there for your term. So ASCAP is 1 year, BMI is 2 years and a half, sometimes 2 years and 9 months, and SESAC is 3 years. So once you sign up with a PRO, you're locked into that term, and it automatically renews every year until you submit your termination request. So getting on things early before for young folks join is a key thing, and then also meeting folks like Shay, who's well established, is another plus.
That's good. Going back, I want to go back into your history a little bit, and how it's benefiting you. Do you feel like as you're building CSAC's roster, you're relating to these artists, just that your background really, really empowers you in the situation?
Absolutely. In a way where,
Because to me, the reason I say this, I just feel like you have an advantage over other people at other PR.
I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but I feel like I do, simply because being a creative as well,
Yeah.
as a DJ, and knowing, being in making beats and all that stuff. So I know the grind and the hustle. I didn't have big placements at all. I'm not here to say that or lie, but being a DJ, having those ears, and being able to play a record at one of my gigs where one of my writers show up, is like, that's dope. That's fresh. And
That is
the
dope.
songwriter and the artist, like they really relate to you more, because I'm not just a suit and tie.
Yeah.
I'm a DJ who I'm in the spots and I'm spinning too. And I have that love and passion for music, so they can relate to that. And not every person, executive working in the business, has that tool.
Yeah. Now that's a perfect segue. Speaking of segues, what do you think about music right now?
Music is everything that we are.
Is it good right
There's
now?
great music out there, and there's not so great music out there.
But right now I'm talking top 40, top one, Hot 100.
There's some good music out there. There's some stuff that I don't really like click with as much, but I play it as a DJ.
Yeah, you got to play what's popular sometimes, right?
Depending on the gig, so, and I think it's because of this, and I'll just get straight to it. I ain't gonna hide shit. It's like I grew up in the 90s, where hip hop had substance,
extraordinary,
a lot of substance, and there's still artists that have a lot of substance with hip hop music. And then now you got artists who using the culture of hip hop, and they're just rapping, and they do a lot of that for either fame or just money, and that's cool. Get your money, but I miss the substance. I miss a lot of the substance. A lot of folks aren't trying to be original. A lot of stuff sounds the same, and that's a little disappointing. But
I think that's my biggest complaint, is the repetition and the lack of originality.
Yeah.
Quincy Jones challenged me recently to elevate what's going on musically, and that's going to be an interesting challenge.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah. It's that's where I come from. Is like I don't want to hear about popping mollies every other song or doing this. I'm smack yo this. Or,
yeah,
it's just like we heard all of that a lot of times. So give me some. It's a lot of stuff going on in the world that is not really spoken on, and
yeah. Did you see Rhythm and Flow by chance on Netflix?
I did.
Did you
I
did you
did.
see D Smoke's winning
D,
song?
D, I missed that last. I remember I had to get ready for a gig and I jumped in the shower and I missed that. But I know D Smoke won. But I saw everything up until that point.
Yeah, it for me it was a victory, honestly, that there is an opportunity again. You know what I mean? It was a victory for that. It was a victory
Yeah.
for anyone who wants to elevate music and make better music. That was the victory. So not only did he win the competition, I felt like he won a little bit.
He did it his way.
His-
Like he did it his way. Like, and that was dope. And much respect to him, especially being from LA, Inglewood. I think he's from Inglewood.
Yeah.
So um
Yeah, he's Sir's brother, Sir from TDE.
oh, okay,
That's his
okay,
brother.
okay,
Mhm.
okay. Now that makes a little bit more sense,
Yeah.
So and props to that show. I thought it was like it was a unique show and the challenges were very, very dope. So like shout out to the producers and
Well, I
innovators
thought
of that.
they mixed those genres though, right? Meaning they had kids who are straight from what's going on right now,
Mhm.
and and those
Midwest folks,
kids,
like
they exactly
it was everything. And again, the challenges
from
like
the conscious, females like the Lauryn Hill
yeah,
young lady
yeah,
from New Jersey
yeah.
to to the Atlanta more Megan the Stallion type.
yeah,
You know,
It was well represented. Well
yeah.
represented.
So that was fascinating. I would love to see the music business now follow suit.
They got good looks, so we'll see. Like I forget the Latin dude's name, but I thought he had I think he has a great chance to become a successful artist, even though
Yeah.
he didn't win. I forget his name. He had a family with
from the
two
kid from Rhode Island.
Yeah,
I believe.
yeah.
My neck of the woods. I'm from
Yeah.
Boston. Yeah, he was very polished to me. Like he's very
Yes.
obviously a good looking kid,
Mhm.
marketable and all that, but he was
Mhm.
very polished too.
Yeah, and he had flow. He had he was passionate about what he did. That's what I looked at most. He was passionate.
Yeah.
He was driven and he was seasoned. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like you could tell like he's he wasn't 21, 22. Like he had it together. Again, he was marketable. So I think he has a great shot.
Now, when you're looking to sign something, are you looking at people that are you looking for people that are musicians that are or beat makers or it doesn't matter? It just
It doesn't matter. Like, but lately I've been looking like for the top liners, because there's a lot of producers out there, guys who make beats.
I feel like top
Um,
lining is a lost art.
Yeah, and if you could find some dope top liners, lyric and melody people, like you can have a song and not even have any music behind it. And that song is there, and that it's easy for somebody to come in and produce that.
Yeah.
But you find that those gems of a top liner, like those are key, and that's what I'm kind of like really, really scoping for right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I take everything,
Yeah.
but
But give me a day in the life.
day in the life in general or just the business.
In general, I guess.
General.
Or both. Maybe both.
Wake up, get my son together, help get him together with the wife for school.
Okay, family man.
Yeah. And lately I've been going to my house of construction, and checking on things, and then I go to the office, before I let him, I'm checking emails. I try to, like, when I get up, just have that space of clarity, before I dive into work. Listen to music on the way to work. Get to the office, I'm online. I'm looking at new stuff, looking at what new music. I'm a Shazammer, dude. So as
Okay.
a DJ and person who work in the business, like any dope sound I hear, I'm whipping out my Shazam.
Yeah.
And I'm Shazamming
I'm
everything.
I'm a Shazammer too.
And by every other day, I go look at my list of Shazams and see what I Shazam, and I do research on it. Either download it into my Serato to spin, and or do some further research on that songwriter or artist.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. Anything. This is going to speak to a lot of young people, and if you get that one-on-one with a big crowd of young people, what would you say through your experiences and what you learned and for the next generation that's looking to get into this business, maybe what are the pitfalls of it? Maybe tell them some of the traps, but also what advice would you give them?
Follow your heart and do what you love. Do what you love. Because when you do what you love, it is not work. It's something that you love to do. So once you figure that out and find and experiment, try a bunch of different things, work different positions, try things out, like see what grasps you. Figure that out and know that people may not understand or see your vision or see your true qualities initially, but you got to keep knocking through the door. And especially for artists and producers and songwriters, like, you want to make money out of this business, and I agree, but like when you do it strictly for the money, um, you kind of lose your originality, and you may not sound original. And I know that sounds redundant, but
You may shorten your lifespan. So to
yeah,
speak.
you may shorten your lifespan, and you start to sound like other people. So write what you love, do what you love, and when you do that, just keep knocking down the doors, and be smart about it. Learn from your mistakes, But again, just do what you love, and things will come.
Okay. And before we wrap up, I actually wanted to get into somewhat of a deeper side of the business. Um, we all know the majority of music right now is being consumed through streaming, and
Hmm.
the growth of streaming, and the record labels are sitting back, getting fat, and so on and so forth. How has streaming affected the PROs and the money that comes in?
Well, that's a very good question. A few years ago, a lot of the PROs were, well, as streaming, grew, um, things were being figured out. There's,
Yep.
and it's still a transitional phase right now because there's the technology is developing rapidly and is moving faster than the business can actually adjust to configure the business model to work so everybody can get compensated
Appropriately.
fairly, appropriately. But to get to the meat of it, historically, like, your PROs will license the catalogs. And what I mean by that, if you're ASCAP, BMI, or SESAC, you have your songs with your respective entity. They license your catalog along with the hundreds and thousands of others. And they license it to the Pandoras, the Spotifys, the restaurants, the radio stations, the streaming platforms, the TV networks. Those folks pay ASCAP, BMI, and SESAC
For those catalogs.
so they can play your music on their platforms. I'm talking from TV again to streaming to radio to venues, even in the grocery market and all of that. Like it costs to play the music. So like now the publishers who the PROs represent, remember PROs represent songwriters and publishers. The publishers are doing direct deals with the streaming platforms, with the SoundClouds, the Apple Musics, the Spotifys, the titles. So that cuts out the PRO. Doesn't cut them out all the way, but the PRO still has to admin that. But, instead of the PROs negotiating directly with the streaming platforms, the streaming platforms are negotiating directly with the publishers.
Okay. Now, to some extent, it does cut out the PROs, though, right? So it's got to be a major.
It does.
chunk of the income.
So I mean, this is just for a frame of reference and an example. This is not true numbers, but say like, again, all right, let me back that up. Let me have a better analogy. Say, for example, like, I want to get these kicks, Shay, and you got to connect to your man over here with the fresh white kicks. I'm going through Shay. So Shay gonna, he gonna
Yeah.
get the kicks for me, but Shay gonna get a little money for him putting in the work.
That's right. I'm a stock exit.
Now I done made a relationship with this dude. Now I'm cutting Shay out. But I'm like, Shay, I still need to get them shoes to me. Can you ship it to me?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not like,
Yeah.
I'm dealing with him, but you still got to ship it to me. So you still going to get a little something. You're not getting as much as what you were before I met him and I developed my relationship directly. That's a good analogy.
That is a good analogy. So how does the PRO replace that income?
I can't speak for ASCAP and BMI. But for SESAC, like,
and we don't need specifics, but just in general, like, what's a general strategy that can help?
That's a very, very good question. Develop other businesses under the umbrella to help supplement, income.
Okay, so other products, so to speak.
Product services.
Yes.
SESAC. We also own Harry Fox Agency, HFA. Because we kind of saw this coming.
Okay.
So there's things that, the business requires of HFA.
Yeah.
A lot of it is data.
Okay.
So data is very, very key in the world, beyond music. So
data keeps Spotify in business.
Yeah. So that's a good example. Just, diversify the revenue streams.
Okay. All right. I think in summary, I just want to really, first and foremost, this has been one of the most informative Q&A with Chase that we've had. So I thank you for that.
Oh, no problem.
Thank you for your time. But in summary, I really want to just, I hope we've dispelled some of the mystery between publishing companies and performing rights organizations. And one of the reasons I really wanted Mario to be here today was not only did I know he knew the answer to that question, I also know that, to me, his background as a DJ, as a producer, as a publisher, I didn't even know the radio part, has given him a unique perspective now being in a PRO. And that's really why I wanted him here today to share. So thank you again for that, Mario.
Man, it's an honor to be here.
It's been a pleasure just sitting riffing, hearing your stories.
I feel like we need to continue the discussions.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And hey, this is just part one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Indeed.
But welcome.
Thank you, man.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Your family, everyone who comes up here is family.
Absolutely, man.
So
Appreciate you.
Appreciate the time.
Yes, sir.